It's Tuesday. It's October 3rd, 2023. A brand new episode of the Boiler Breakdown podcast is
There
on
we
the
go.
air live on the Boiler Breakdown YouTube channel, Twitter/X account, and on Facebook. Like, subscribe, follow, do all those things to our accounts if you haven't already. And if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, please give us a 5-star rating and review. That really helps us a lot. With all that said, I'm Tanner Lee along with my co-host Evan Webb. Webby, how's it going?
Pretty good, Sam. Pretty good. A lot better than about 7 days ago, so I'll take it.
Yes, amen to that. Finally, not only did the Boilers get a victory over the Illini, 44-19, it was a nice, comfortable, at least fourth quarter to watch in Ross-Ade Stadium. Something we haven't been accustomed to too much over the last decade or so.
Now, I was trying to think, like, when's the last game that we had that it was like, going into the fourth quarter, it was like, okay, we just got to just, coast this one out. Was it maybe like Indiana State last year? Maybe, probably.
Probably.
A little in a Big Ten game.
Because Northwestern got tight last year on
Mm-hmm.
senior day.
Indiana was pretty tight towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually a dogfight.
Yeah, it's usually we pulled out a close one last year, or like Wisconsin last year, they kicked our doors in. So yeah, so it was nice for a change just to sit back and relax. And I don't know about you, but I want to say that second half was the best Purdue's played all year. Some people could say, at least defensively, that was Virginia Tech in the second half. But I think everybody will agree at least the third quarter of the Illinois game was the best quarter that Purdue's played all year.
100%, yeah. That was, it kind of, like I said, I didn't realize how good of a quarter it was until like the quarter was over, and I was like, holy crap, we ran away with this thing after being, up only 16-13 right at the end of the second half. I mean, you score, 21 points unanswered in the third quarter, and yeah, kind of just coasted to the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, you came out firing because really at halftime, I felt like we should have been up more than we were. That's what was frustrating. But got it going in the third quarter. Defense got more pressure on Altmaier than they had seen in the first half, which, I mean, the defense did a good job all day, but particularly in the second half. And then, just kind of milked the thing away. Big Time Boiler on YouTube said that Illinois game was by far the best we've played all year.
Amen.
Yeah.
Now, how much of that do you do? Maybe it's Illinois being good, or compared to, the fact that Walters was calling the defense for the first time all year. What do you attribute that to? Maybe a little bit of both.
I think a little bit of both. I don't think Illinois is that great of a team. I think everybody thought they were going to be better than they've shown this year so far through 5 games, particularly on the both sides of the line.
So usually their line's been pretty strong. Like, at least that was like their strength coming into the year. I know you said during the game that they had 2 guys on the defensive line that are projected to be drafted next year.
Yeah. Of course, their defense secondary is hurting not only from the loss of Ryan Walters, but also 3 guys who went in the top 75 of the NFL draft. That's going to hurt any team. But I think it was a combination of Illinois not being as good and just the familiarity of our staff and the staff changes, like you mentioned, with Walters being down on the field, Kevin King being up in the box, and then on the offensive side with Harrell being up in the box, which, I've never coached football a day in my life, but for many reasons. But I would think if I was a head coach, I would want my offense coordinator up in the box. I just feel like you could see more that way. Big Time Boiler said Walters calling defense he thinks was a huge difference. Don't think Kane calls that corner blitz.
I thought the same thing right
Changed the game.
I didn't say it a lot, but I thought, I don't know if we've seen that all year, and I don't know if Kane been playing pretty conservative on defense, kind of, sitting back on our heels, kind of letting the game come to us. But I feel like Walters was just kind of maybe, was it? I mean, he says it had nothing to do with the opponent, but do you think he was trying to prove something to his former staff? But yeah, I just feel like there's just a little bit of juice in the defense in this game.
Oh yeah, I mean, he could say everything he wanted in the post game, like he did, like, this was just another game. Nah, there's a little more added to it. There's enough guys he brought with him. it's definitely more of a rivalry than, at least as far as long as Bielema is still there going forward. It's going to be more of a rivalry than it was
Yeah,
previous to
it's gonna be
that.
cool. Yeah,
Cameron Day on Facebook says Cam Allen still looks like he runs with weights on his ankles. Bro runs a 6'4" 40. I thought he actually played pretty well
he didn't play
the other day.
He dropped
So
a bit. It was interesting to see towards the end after they kind of pulled some of the starters. He was in Thieneman's spot towards the end. I thought maybe they might have maybe put someone else back there, maybe someone who's a little bit less experienced. But
yeah, he had 3 tackles. I mean, wasn't huge in the stat book, but he didn't, let's say, play miss coverage as
yeah, like
glaring as he has.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Illinois missed plays that could have turned the game.
Sure.
Changed the game, and we had their tight end seam was wide open.
Wide open.
Half, that was a blown coverage by somebody. I'm assuming some sort of linebacker. And then, but I don't think that was on him. And then was it Wilson? 16. He got beat. Wilson. He got beat in the second half, and thankfully the guy couldn't catch it.
Kind of dropped it twice. Hit him in the chest, and it bounced up, and then hit him in the hands. So, Illinois didn't take advantage of some big plays, but overall, I thought Purdue played well on both sides of the ball. Special teams wasn't as good as it's been at times, but it wasn't a problem either. So, I think they were graded out about a B or B minus. The grades from Gold and Black. So,
they had the blocked PAT after our scoop and score. And then they had obviously the blocked punt or, suspected blocked punt that negated the roughing the kicker. So not perfect, but nothing. I think that was super costly.
Cameron Day on Facebook, will Purdue cover the 2.5 point spread on Saturday?
Stay tuned and find out.
I'm surprised it's that low, to be honest. I thought it'd be around 4.5.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of McNamara being out and the backup quarterback being in. But
we lost a running back too, didn't they?
Yes, who ran for at least 200 on us last year. Williams. So, that was an ugly game last year. But focusing on the Illinois game first, looking at the box score, of course, Hudson Card led Purdue in passing yards. He was 18 for 26 for 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, no fumbles by Hudson, so a nice clean game protecting the football. Is it too early to say Purdue's strength as an offense is in the ground game?
It's looking like that.
It's weird to say, but
Tyrone Tracy, he's definitely emerged. As RB1 for sure, especially just given Maccabees loose hands with the ball.
Yeah, Tracy had 21 carries for 112 yards, 1 touchdown, 5.3 yards per carry. Maccabee, 14 touches, 67 yards, 1 touchdown, 4.8 yards per carry. Dylan Downing, 4 carries, but he took advantage of those 4 carries for 30 yards, 1 touchdown, 7.5 yards per carry. And Hudson Card, 6 carries for negative 20 yards, 0 touchdowns, negative 3.3 yards per carry. But that takes into account sacks as well. Receiving, spread the ball around pretty nicely. Deion Burks, 5 receptions for 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 16.6 yards per reception. Abdur-Rahim Yassin, 2 receptions for 35 yards, no touchdowns.
He's in the second half, though.
Yes, he did.
7 to drive.
17.5 yards per reception, of course. He has yet to find an end zone yet, but I think that's coming soon. Garrett Miller, 2 receptions, 31 yards, 1 touchdown. Nice to see him finally get a touchdown. His first one since 2020. Long time coming from a big 88. Max Clare, who we did see get injured. I have not read any reports on his injury, which scares me. 3 receptions for 27 yards. TJ Sheffield, 2 receptions for 21. Maccabee, 2 for 11. Jaden Dixon-Veal, the junior college transfer, 1 reception for 5. And Tyrone Tracy Jr., 1 reception for 4 yards. So, Christopher here on Facebook says having 3 weapons is big. I assume he's talking about the running backs. Yeah. Having a nice 3-headed monster and 3 guys who have different run styles each. Definitely helps.
Downing, when he scored his touchdown, he just muscled his way into the end zone, which was nice to see because, Tracy hits the hole so quickly. Maccabee's kind of just a wild card. You really never know where he's going to go, especially really on the outside. And, Downing just kind of lowered the pads and just went at
Mhm.
it.
Yep. Defense, Sanusi Kane led the team in tackles with 7. 2 of those were assisted and a sack. Dylan Thieneman, 5 with 2 assisted. Marcavius Brown, 3, 1 assisted, 1 sack on that corner blitz that forced the fumble. Yanni Karlaftis, his best game to date, and Walter said it was the best game any of our inside linebackers have had this season. 3 tackles, 5 assisted, 1 sack. Kim Allen, 3 tackles. Batros Alessandro, 2 tackles, 2 assisted. Nick, it still says Nick Carraway, so I almost just said Nick Carraway. Nick Scorton, 2 and 1. Cole Brevard, 2 and 1. Marquise Wilson, 2 and 1. Antonio Stevens, 2 tackles. Kajan Jenkins, 1 tackle and a sack. Who got the touchdown? Doesn't have the touchdown here in the back box score.
Interesting.
I think that was wasn't that Malik Lanham, 35.
No.
Yeah, it just has on ESPN. It has tackles, sacks, and interceptions.
Trying to see if I can find it. I'm on the Purdue website. Is there like a
Pretty sure it was him.
Malik Langham? Yep, yeah, it just has because he's only got a fumble recovery because for no yards.
Yeah. So in Illinois, we held Altmaier in check, 16 for 25, 202 yards and a touchdown. On the ground, he had 13 carries, 29 yards. Pretty much all those were on the first carry of the game, which I know you and I thought, oh boy, here we go again.
Yeah. Just the collective groan from the stadium. Funny looking back now. At the time, it was just like, Jesus, are we seriously doing this?
Caden Figgin had 11 carries for 85 yards. Josh McCray, 10 for 35 and a touchdown. Isaiah Williams, who was besides Charlie Jones, he was the leading Big Ten player in receiving yards coming into this year from last year. 6 receptions for 113 yards, but no touchdowns. Pat Bryant, 3 receptions, 40 yards and a touchdown. Malik Elzy, 2 for 24. Casey Washington, 2 for 19. Tip Rimmon, 1 for 13. Josh McCray, 3 for 11. And Hank Beatty, 1 for 6. And Illinois only got to Hudson 1.5 times, or 2 times, excuse me. There was another half sack there at the bottom. So, yeah. So, overall, good day for the Boilermakers. The Cannon stays home. Add another one up to the recent success Purdue's had over the Illini.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been,
So,
what was it? I mean, just the streak that we've had against them, even dating back to Hazel, was crazy.
yeah. I mean, Darryl, 2 of his 9 wins were against Illinois. Both of those were on the road. Purdue's just had good success against them. Historically, they're pretty similar programs, I would say.
I had a tweet. I almost did it on Saturday. I didn't do it because I didn't want to do it. Didn't want to poke the bear, but I want to be like, it's something along the lines of like, you know what? Maybe he's like Hazel because he just whooped Illinois' ass like Hazel did.
You should have. You should have pulled the trigger.
There is something similar there. The Hazel, they still beat Illinois.
Yep. What'd you think of everything going on around campus? Homecoming, the official dedication of Tiller Tunnel, Sean Phillips being back.
It was cool to see Phillips back. From what I saw from the Tiller Tunnel, it was a pretty cool little ceremony. I know some people were kind of mad that they didn't do it during the game. That's awesome.
Joe Pruse.
Some people were mad they didn't do it during the game, but I'm cool with it being, let it be for the family, let it be for those close to them. It's cool to have everybody, a lot of former players back who were, lovers of Joe like everybody else. It's homecoming. Saw a ton of people walking through the concourse that, either you see at every game or like, oh, you went to class with or whatever. So it's always a fun time for homecoming. And it was, incredible weather. Probably one of the better weather days we'll have for homecoming, especially in late September. You never know how that's going to be. Great crowd. I know the student section filed out a little early in the second half or early second half, but students aren't really going to fault them for much.
Nope, you got to go get in line at Harry's, or maybe they were going to Mad Mush. Maybe they were going to Mad Mush.
Both. I was actually pretty surprised at the number of Illinois fans that were there. Especially the fact short drive. Yeah, but had they been better, I wouldn't have been as surprised. The fact that they were kind of also struggling, I wasn't really sure. But it was overall a really good environment, and it's always a fun time.
Yep. Always fun. It's felt good to finally get a win in Rothsay. I don't know if I could have stomached not only going 1-4 in September, but 0-4 at home. Yes, Patrick Kennedy on YouTube said Triple X. Yes,
There you
maybe
go.
they were going to Triple X. Yeah, you can really plan out the perfect day around campus
Yeah.
if you put in some effort there with all the good restaurants and bars we got around
We ate at
campus. So
Waltz beforehand. It was
yep,
delicious.
can't, well, Waltz is always a good spot. So Christopher on Facebook, how many Illini fans are secretly cheering for Walters?
I,
I
not
feel
so
like
much
not many.
now. Yeah, not so much now.
Who knows?
Especially, yeah, Bruno's a good one, Patrick. Um, yeah, maybe at first they were really happy for him, but then maybe once they read about the whole Hudson Cards area of him coming up and stealing them off campus, yeah, I can't. I mean, they're kind of the Illini fan base is definitely a finicky bunch, to put it lightly.
Nice way to put it.
Put it lightly. So yeah, I don't think they're pretty positive that the reason for their success last year was mostly due to old Bert over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's something. He's something.
Not hard to pick out on the sideline. I'll just say that.
No. He yeah, I'm gonna be nice. I can say many things right now, but I'm gonna be nice.
What's the place in Champaign? It's called the Ribeye. It's a pretty little steak place. I'm sure he frequents it.
I'm sure he's been to the Beef House a couple times too.
Yeah.
On his way to Purdue. A big time boiler on YouTube. That was a big win for Walters. What recruit will choose Illinois over Purdue now? Every win like that helps, especially in recruiting battles.
Mm-hmm. We've already kind of see it already with I'm blanking on the kid's name, 2024 class.
Williams, right?
Williams, yeah, Luke Williams, something like that.
Sounds right without looking it up.
Sure. I mean, he's basically down at Purdue, Illinois, it looked like, and
yeah,
chose the good side.
Yep. And I really think the programs historically, like I've mentioned before, are really on par. But I think Purdue's set up right now better for the future. Illinois is not taking advantage of the momentum they kind of created last year. Patrick on YouTube, would Walt ever take the Colorado job? He was interested last year, and I think he even got interviewed. I think it just depends. I mean, who knows how long Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, if you want to call him that, will be there. I mean, I'm sure it's always going to be intriguing going back to your alum. But at the same time, now with how much money the Big Ten Conference gets, they get more than the Big 12, which I don't know if everybody remembers this, but that's where Colorado's going next year, back to the Big 12, which they probably should have never left.
Right.
I think that plays a big part in it. Honestly, I don't know if Jeff Brom leaves if it wasn't for Louisville last year.
Right.
Just because of, the intrigue of the Big Ten West is going away starting next year for future openings, but that money talks, that Big Ten money talks. And now with the deal with, NBC and Fox and CBS, which we talk about constantly, definitely doesn't hurt things. So,
yeah, but you never know. I mean,
never know.
Home. You never, it's hard to fault a guy for wanting to go home.
Sure.
Also looking at Colorado, like, if Prime leaves in a year or two, like, I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know what coach can, if they have like this level of success that you think they may be able to have. They hung with USC. In terms of just like the recruiting momentum they have, like I'm not sure they could sustain that with another coach outside of someone. I mean, Coach Prime's a pretty, his personality is pretty intoxicating for certain recruits. So it's hard to fault. Is it? We have this conversation a lot, like with basketball too. Is it? Is it the program or the coach? Right now you could argue that Duke is all about. People think Duke is a power. Like, was it? Was it, or was it just they had a really good coach? For a long time. I guess we'll see with Shire. He seems to be doing a pretty good job off right now. But like North Carolina, that's just kind of a program thing. Kansas is a program thing. So if Colorado does really, really well, is it ingrained in their program, or is it just because they just struck gold with the right coach at the right time?
I would say they struck gold because campus is beautiful. Yeah. They've had some moments, especially in the '90s. Cordell Stewart, they won a national championship. Early 2000s, they won at least made an appearance. Maybe they didn't win it in the Big 12 championship, and then they were just awful for the last decade or so, and that was just. They weren't getting the right guys there. So I definitely don't think they're a school that recruits itself. Colorado, for the most part, that's a pro sports state.
Yes.
That is not a college sports state. And that's why that their state is so excited about this Colorado hype because now they can actually watch a team on Saturdays and don't have to wait till Sundays or NBA season or NHL season.
Because in Colorado, you don't really have like Indiana, we're pretty blessed with 3 massive universities, and when it comes to football and then basketball, you throw in, Butler, and then obviously like Indiana State, Ball State can make some noise sometimes. But like when it comes to even like in football, obviously a pretty Notre Dame, Indiana. But like in Colorado, you have Colorado State, but Colorado State's pretty garbage.
In Air Force, but Air Force is a military. I mean, they're solid at football, but for Power 5, you only got one. And then if you want to count others, there's Northern Colorado, which is located in Greeley. That's where Vincent Jackson went. But besides that, they're not really known for anything. Yes, there is, and that team actually beat Evans Bears and maybe other people's Bears on here. So, yes, Broncos are not going 0-17. That's the only thing I can hang my hat on right now. So, I am gonna enjoy it while I can until they probably lose to the Jets on Sunday. So, but no, I feel really good about Purdue. It's funny what a win can do to you, to your spirits, and now all of a sudden, going into Iowa on Saturday, a team that we've had pretty good success. We've won 2 of the last 3 trips to Kinnick. Now that was with Jeff Brahman Stadium. Jeff won 4 of 6 games against Iowa, but Iowa. No, he's not. Unfortunately, I wish we could borrow him from the Browns for one day, but Iowa does not put up a lot of points whatsoever. But their defense is always solid. Special teams is always solid. They find ways to score touchdowns on both sides of the ball there. But I'm liking Purdue's chances better now than I did a week ago. Caden McNamara, unfortunately for him, the Michigan transfer quarterback, is out for the year. So now they're back up, whose name's escaping me. I think his last name's Nash. He was going to transfer to Fordham from Wisconsin to Fordham because he was on the Wisconsin team last year. Then Iowa talked him into coming in. Let's see if I can find his name here. Nope, not Nash. Way off. Deacon Hill. Don't know why I thought it was Nash. I am way off. We got a score prediction here from Ray Davis on Facebook. He says Boilers 24-14. And big time Boiler, yeah, Deacon Hill. I don't know why I thought Nash. That was way off. But I don't know much about him. He did go 11 for 27, 115 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception against the Spartans, which was a dogfight for a while for Iowa. I do know he's a bigger kid, and according to Tom Dienhart, he's not very mobile, or at least as mobile as Cade McNamara.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So maybe get some pressure on him, and maybe we can get some sacks just like we did against Luke Allmeyer. On Saturday. But looking at the history of the Purdue-Iowa series, and yes, Big Time Boiler said he is a big boy, 6'5", 260. So that is a I guarantee he's got a rocket of the arm if those are his measurements.
Oh, yeah.
All-time series, Purdue leads 50 wins to 40 wins. Record at Ross-Ade, even though it doesn't matter since we're not playing at Ross-Ade, 29-18-1. Away record, 21-22-2.
Oh, that close, huh?
Purdue's 4-6 in the last 10 matchups. Average points 19 put up against the Hawkeyes, so low. That's the average points of margin for the series. Excuse me. Last year was 24-3, Hawkeyes away in West Lafayette, but like I said, years before that, 24-7 win over number 2 ranked Iowa in 2021, 24-20 win in 2020, 26-20 loss in 2019, which I remember being really happy with Purdue's performance that day because they were going in with a JV squad with all the injuries and put up a fight.
Yeah.
38-36 Spencer Evans field goal win in 2018, 24-15 win in 2017, and we won't mention anything before that because
if you think, even Hope had some success against Iowa. I remember there was
one win, but it was up in Iowa, 2012, 27-24.
Field goal.
Yep, Paul Griggs, 27-24.
Yep, I remember I was watching that. Oh God, what was the restaurant used to be right in the levee, right next to the hotel?
Sky's Brewhouse.
Yep, I remember watching that. I was watching that game there.
Yep.
I thought he had.
He fought him close. In 2011, because he only went against them twice. 2011 lost 31-21 because we didn't play him in 09 or 10.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, Tiller had his fair share of
Mm-hmm.
success, but really, Tiller had a losing record against them too. It looks like so. Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to that. I wish it was a night game. I know people are gonna be like, "What are you crazy? A night game at Kinnick?" But we don't play many true road night games. I mean, we play some like this weekend, 3:30. That'll probably end in some darkness. But I know you and I were trying to talk. When is the last true night game Purdue had on the road? Was it 2010 at Northwestern?
What was the Nevada started? That was.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it was night for us because it was West Side.
Right.
It counts.
Right.
Gosh.
I really think it was.
And I think the Bucket game last year was a 3:30 start. Because I mean, I know it ended at night, but it was
right. I'm talking about the games at 7:30, or 8. I'm really thinking it was.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But it was originally supposed to be a night game on NBC, but instead it got flexed back to 3:30 on the Peacock. So if you don't have Peacock, you better get it for multiple reasons, because Purdue's on it last week, Purdue's on it this week, Purdue's on it next week at noon against Ohio State, and Purdue's on it at least six times for basketball, including a trip to Bloomington. So
$6.
Yeah, you better get it. I trust me, I understand. There's so many streaming options. They're costing all of us money anymore. It is pretty ridiculous, but there's other good stuff on Peacock too. So pay $6, you'll probably find some other stuff to watch, and it's worth it. Hear that, or you probably got to miss the game or listen to it on the radio. I mean, I guess you could find a legal stream, but usually those can crash your computer. So, yeah, looking forward to Saturday's matchup. Like it was discussed earlier on the pod, Iowa is a 2.5-point favorite right now. Wonder what the over under is for the game.
Looked at it. It's like Ray's score is pretty close.
38.5. I got to that.
Yeah. So he's right at the under.
I know the metrics aren't on our side.
No.
But I'll save my prediction for a little bit. But I haven't watched Iowa too much because I can't stand to watch them play because they're so boring.
I mean, they got saved because of was it a scoop and score? I know they definitely had a special teams touchdown on Saturday against Michigan State. Mm-hmm. Did they have
it was a punt return.
Okay. I thought they maybe had a defensive touchdown too.
But they might have. I mean, that's what they're known for. It's been the same Iowa brand since Ferentz got there in the 90s. I mean, it hasn't changed. It's just, once in a while they've had good quarterback play with Brad Banks in the early 2000s, Drew Tate. They've had a couple other decent guys, but they've never had that lightning in a bottle quarterback. They've had good running backs, great linemen, great tight ends, and then great defensive players, and good kickers and punters too. But
Michigan State had a scoop and score. Okay, yeah. Iowa had field goal, touchdown pass, field goal, 70-yard punt return, field goal. So
yeah. So get some turnovers early, see what happens.
On the year they've played, they beat Utah State by 10, beat Iowa State by 7, and they whooped Western Michigan by 31. Got whooped by Penn State by 31 and went scoreless.
Yeah, 3 first downs that game.
Yeah, and then obviously just beat Michigan State by 10. So.
Yep. So
I always enjoy the Iowa games because I feel like because I feel like we've always had a decent shot against them even when they've been really good.
Yeah. I remember last year's being so depressing because it was a rainy game anyways, and they just took it to us 24-3. We couldn't do anything. It was really windy too. So, they clocked us last year really bad. But time for some revenge. I don't know what Iowa fans would do if we go up there and win 3 of the last 4. They might just lose it. Hey, maybe Deion Burks is the new David Bell. Yeah. Or hey, Tyrone Tracy former Hawkeye, does wear number 3.
Yep.
I could see that. before we get into the Big Ten predictions and then the Purdue prediction, top 25 prediction, I want to get your bold, spicy take for the game.
I knew this was coming. Like, I've still forgot about it. There will be a defensive touchdown in the game with a team whose colors are black and gold. But they'll be the away team who gets the defensive touchdown.
All right. Do you think we wear our same away jerseys that we wore at Virginia Tech and that we've been wearing, or do you think I'm still hoping we get a version of our home jerseys on the road?
I think those are just the home ones. I think you're right. Like the mock speed that's going away after this year.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Next year. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Hoping for black pants though. Yeah, not a huge fan of the white on gold.
Whatever we win, if we wear what we wore for Virginia Tech and win, just keep wearing them. I don't care. What do I want my bold, spicy prediction to be? I like yours. At least 2 touchdowns from Tracy.
Ooh, I like that.
At least 2 touchdowns from Tracy. So I like the way he's playing with confidence.
See what Deion Burks has been doing. Because there was that segment during the game about how a part of the reason his diet during his transfer, his biotransformation is incredible.
Oh yeah, I need to get on Chipotle diet, I guess.
Guys, and he's trying to get the NIL deal, which he should. I mean, let's go Chipotle.
George had an NIL deal with them.
He did. Yep.
So yeah, I think makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. That's one thing I will say, and I know it's tougher with football. The basketball team's done a really good job. All the different guys getting out and getting different companies. Mm-hmm. I saw Mason Gellis just picked one up yesterday with a trash can sanitation company. Mm-hmm. Nowadays.
Well, Ethan just posted a thing about me with McDonald's. I was like, geez.
We couldn't have been that. McDonald's Mondays every day at school. That could have been us. So look at that. Right. See? No free ads McDonald's. You hear that? But no, it's very. And I know football players have it too. I know Garrett Miller just signed one with a Wagyu beef farm down around Lafayette, which is pretty cool. So there are some out there. So yeah. All right, Big Ten games. Friday night, got a big one in Champaign. 2-3 Nebraska at 2-3 Illinois. Illinois is a 3.5-point favorite.
Man, this one's tough because I don't like this Illinois team. Nebraska has been bad. But I feel like Nebraska's got more dudes on their team.
I do too.
But it's Nebraska, and they're still finding ways to beat Nebraska of recent. So I think I'm going to take the home team just because they're at home. I don't think it's going to really matter that it's at home, but
I'm 100% with you. I think
Bert's a little pissed off after losing to his protege.
I think both these teams, they want to make a bowl. This is a huge one.
Yeah, this is a huge one
because the loser falls to 2-4. Mm-hmm. I mean, oh boy,
still have to play. I mean, Illinois still has. They play at Maryland next week. That's not easy. Nope. Play Wisconsin. I mean, at Minnesota. They have Indiana. I still at Iowa.
They don't have Ohio State or Michigan. They've already played Penn State. So
yeah, Nebraska's got Northwestern, us at Michigan State, Maryland at Wisconsin, Iowa.
Yeah.
So they both have some winnable games, but yeah, this is a must win for both.
5-0 Maryland at 5-0 number 4 Ohio State. This was the Fox Big Noon game. I've been reading more about how the television works with Big Ten matchups. Fox gets the first choice every week.
Do they? Yes, I thought I read something that they get the first choice / it goes to like either Ohio State or Michigan, something along those. I mean, I could be. Okay. I don't know if there might have been someone just read the message boards and someone was just lying, and I just took it for.
But then after that, it gets murky with NBC and Peacock, Fox Sports 1, and Big Ten Network, things like that. Mm-hmm. But because I thought this game might be the NBC night game when it was announced last week, but then it was Fox Big Noon. Ohio State's a 20-point favorite. I like the Buckeyes to win, but Maryland to cover.
I agree. I think I could see it being like a single-digit game, 10 points or less.
If Maryland gets this one, watch out.
Yeah. So I've kind of talked about. I think Maryland gets one of the big three in the East. They get somebody. Do they have anybody at home?
We better be cheering for Ohio State because, for one, we want them ranked as best as possible coming in, just in case we do pull another great upset. And two, we don't want them pissed off.
No, Maryland has Penn State and Michigan both at home, so
Yeah.
never know. I think I think this might be the one that they can get.
Yeah. 4-1 Rutgers, almost bowl eligible already.
Eligible.
At 3-1 Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a 14-point favorite.
Wisconsin had a bye week this week, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare. Essentially, I think Wisconsin gets it done.
Yeah, I could see Rutgers getting close to covering, but I don't think they do. I think Camp Randall's too much. Give me Wisconsin. Howard at Northwestern. Howard's 2-2. Northwestern is 2-3. There's no line, but I mean, Howard. I mean, they're 2-2 and they're an FCS school.
They lost to Eastern Michigan. They beat Morehouse 65-19. They lost to Hampton 35-34, barn burner, and they beat Robert Morris 35-10.
I'm taking the Wildcats in this.
I'm taking the Wildcats, and they cover whatever line is there in the ether.
Howard, wasn't that where No Jelly Eastern was one time committed to?
Yep.
And then the night game on NBC, the battle for the Little Brown Jug, number 2 Michigan, who is 5-0 at 3-2. Boat Boy, Minnesota Golden Gophers. Michigan's 19-point favorite. I think they win, and I think they cover. I think this is a blowout.
I think Michigan rolls in that one.
I guess this is a blowout. Before we get to the Purdue, let's look at some top 25 matchups. Interesting one in Missouri. Number 23 ranked LSU. 3-2 for Brian Kelly. He could use a win here. If he gets a loss, we could start hearing some Fire Kelly chants down there in Baton Rouge, as crazy as that sounds. They're at number 21, Missouri, who's 5-0, and really one of the surprises around college football. LSU's 6.5-point favorite. I'm sorry.
They are, yes. I'm going with Missouri.
I'll take LSU, but I hope you're right.
Missouri's gonna get. They're having a good kind of stretch here. The football team's 5-0. Their basketball teams has been doing pretty well in the recruiting trail. They've got. There was a one-time Purdue target, Trent Burns, that 7'3" kid from Houston. He just committed there over the weekend. But I think they've gotten a 5-star for next year's class already. So they're good things going on in wherever the hell Missouri is located. I completely
is it Columbia?
Columbia, yes.
Well, they should though. With St. Louis right in their backyard, you should be able to recruit. You should dominate that. But
and I think there was something. I don't know if it ever went live, but I thought there was some sort of legislation thing where if you are a Missouri high school kid and you commit to an in-state school, you can start earning NIL in high school. So it kind of incentivizes them to stay in there. So when you talk about, the St. Louis is a hotbed for recruiting, so it'd be interesting to see if that actually is. I know that I saw it was one thing that was kind of being presented. I don't know if it ever went into effect, but that if that is true, that could be. Whatever your thoughts on NIL, that's smart for the state legislature to do something like that to incentivize kids to stay home.
Big one down here at the Texas State Fair, the Cotton Bowl. Number 12 ranked, undefeated 5-0 Oklahoma versus number 3 ranked 5-0 Texas. Texas 6.5-point favorite. Over under for this one 60.5.
I hope it's a shootout.
I feel like these games are or they're blowouts. There's no in between.
Yeah, it's never a 20-14 game.
And Oklahoma surprised me this year. With Venables, they were bad last year. I'm like, I don't know if he's the guy. They're making a statement early this year. So.
I think Texas wins and they cover.
I think
Texas is out to prove something.
I think they're very, very good. They are ranked number 3, but I think they're arguably probably the best team in the country. Arguably. But,
yep.
Number 13, Washington State, 4-0 at soon-to-be Big Ten member 3-1 UCLA, who is a 3.5-point favorite.
I'm trying to find it here. What was the game? Sorry.
Washington State at UCLA.
Oh, there it is. UCLA's 3.5.
Hello.
Andrew Eiler.
He lives.
We got the band is here. Full band tonight.
Band is back together.
We're predicting top 25 games, Andrew.
Washington State at UCLA, Andrew. Who you got? I don't know.
Washington State, go Cougs.
We'll go with Cougs, yeah.
I'll take the Bruins just because they're going to join the Big Ten and Chip Kelly can put up some points.
Number 13, Washington State. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you guys see?
Pac-12's
There
good.
was
The Pac-4.
Someone's like, what if NCAA or college football playoff? Well, it's college football playoffs, not the NCAA. If it was like a 12-team thing, someone had Fresno State as the 12th seed. It's like,
I still think through 5 teams. I think through 5 teams, they're the best team we've played, and that's the one we should have won.
Yeah,
I say Syracuse, we could have. Fresno, we should have.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Syracuse, they were handed their first loss of the year to Clemson. 4-1. They traveled to Chapel Hill to take on 4-0, number 14 North Carolina, who's a 9.5-point favorite.
Oh, I got 8.5 on ESPN.
Yeah, I see 8.5 on ESPN.
Stupid score app.
Tar Heels.
Yeah, I like Drake May.
I think they cover that one. Yeah.
This is a really interesting one. Number 11 Alabama, 4-1 travels to 4-1 Texas A&M. Alabama's 2.5-point favorites on the road, which I was surprised it wasn't more, even though I know A&M is 4-1. A&M lost their starting quarterback a week ago for the season, so they're playing with a backup. I think Bama wins, but
Yeah, I think they do too.
I think people are giving Saban a reason to complain and yell and go nuts. So
Yeah. Roll Tide.
another SEC's got some good ones this week. Number 20, 5-0 Kentucky at number 1, 5-0 Georgia, who squeaked by Auburn. Georgia's 14.5-point favorites.
Was that the game that kind of woke Georgia up, and now they're just kind of...
I thought it would have been South Carolina, though, 2 weeks prior. And it's like,
true.
if they keep doing this, somebody's going to nip them.
Because nobody respects them. No one expected them to be this good team. That's why.
Oh, yeah. They've only won back-to-back championships.
Right.
Just like Ryan Day. Ryan Day said,
Georgia versus the world.
Yeah, Georgia against the world. Nobody respects us.
Yeah, I think Georgia. I think they cover.
I do too. Yeah. I do too. But Kentucky's solid this year. One that I think many Purdue fans will have their eyes on for one reason or another. Number 10, Notre Dame, 5-1. That should be 4-2, but Duke doesn't know how to cover a 4th and 10 with no QB spy out there. At number 25, 5-0, Louisville.
How is Louisville ranked? They're 5-0. You plays on your schedule, and they've won. But Maryland, look at common opponents. Louisville squeaked by Indiana, and Maryland blew their freaking doors off.
That's a great question.
Louisville squeaked by Georgia Tech. Needed Georgia Tech to kind of really screw up that game.
Yeah, needed Haynes Keen to fumble.
Yeah.
They squeaked by the other night against NC State.
Was Georgia Tech when they were down like 28 to 7 at halftime or something, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then Georgia Tech went over in the second half because they woke up. Louisville could put up some points. Jack Plummer's still Jack Plummer. Good kid, hadn't got any better. They'll get a lot of personal foul penalties. They'll get a lot of penalties, period.
They won't graduate.
They'll get a lot of penalties, period. I don't have a line for this game for some reason.
I have Notre Dame 6.5.
6.5.
I think Notre Dame wins by 2 scores.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I think so as well. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I actually kind of want Notre Dame to blow them.
Oh, I can't do it. Even though it's still weird to watch these Louisville games, I've watched like 3 of them, and I usually root against them. I root against them. I get rooted for them against Indiana. I'll root for them against the Irish, but I think the Irish win in a close one. I was making fun of Notre Dame's schedule start of the year. All of a sudden, it has got tough. With Duke being better than a lot of people thought, and USC next week. So they can't afford to overlook Louisville, though.
No.
Well. Number 24, Fresno State, 5.5-point favorites at Wyoming, who is 4-1.
I'm a Fresno State fan for the rest of the year, so.
Yeah, I want to see them playing a New Year's Six bowl. Give me the Bulldogs. Arizona USC, that's a no-brainer.
I still can't get over Oregon State's 15th.
Yeah, Oregon State's 15th, had a big win over Utah. 4-1 at 3-2 Cal. Oregon State's 9.5-point favorites. Oregon State's 15. Washington State's 13, and they're the 2 on the outside looking in with no home. It just, I mean, I get the academic prestige of Cal and Stanford, but from a football
Cal
standpoint, come on.
needs to get rid of football and basketball because they're dog crap in both of them.
Yes, they are.
Like they're good at like the Olympic sports, like
Stanford too.
Incredible academic school. But if anything, shut down the basketball program. Basketball program is atrocious.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. But I like the Beavers in this one.
I did not realize that was where DJ.
Oh, ukulele or what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did not realize.
Yeah. He's playing well. I'm sure Clemson wanted some back, but you guys didn't want him when he was there. So we already did the Big Ten games, Andrew. But you have any thoughts on the Big Ten slate overall? See any upsets there or anything?
Howard, come on, Howard.
Yeah, we talked about Howard's schedule. Interested there.
They beat Morehouse like 65-14.
Morehouse, the powerhouse.
Lost to Hampton by 1.
I see that. Hey, they didn't. They bounced back against Robert Morris though. So
yeah. Old Bobby Morris there.
I wish there was a line for that Howard Northwestern game. What do you think it would be?
Northwestern by 6.
I was gonna say
they better be double digits, or that's just awful.
You didn't talk about Purdue, Iowa. Then I'm assuming
we have not predicted it yet. We're waiting for that last.
What are your thoughts on the game on Saturday though?
Yeah.
Let me see. How much did I even get to watch?
How was the broadcast on the Peacock, by the way?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't. It wasn't. I didn't have any qualms.
Okay.
They were fine.
I thought I saw some people saying how awful they were.
Yeah.
Like, at least there's a
the pregame was weird. Like a bunch of the random guys that I was like, I had never heard. I was like, I thought the pregame was pretty bad.
If we're paid $5.99, we better get good announcing.
Yeah, I thought the game was okay. They were actually kind of fair. At least I think I only got to watch about half of it. I honestly don't remember what the heck we did Saturday. I was following along. I don't really watch that much. I think I watched them in the second half, but
that was a good half.
They seemed more. Yeah, it was. They definitely were more. Maybe it's just also the way that, because, like you said, Purdue owned the second half, but it seemed like they definitely were more like positive toward Purdue than typical. As a Purdue fan, you think of the announcers are like, "Oh,
it's us against the world," literally.
Exactly. I don't know. That could have just been the short that I was period. Plus, I was in a good mood because Purdue was dominating and winning comfortably.
That's what we were talking about. It was so nice to be at Ross-Ade in the fourth quarter and just relax and enjoy it for once.
Yeah.
Did you guys, when Illinois scored with like 8 minutes to go to cut it to like 17, and then they went for 2 and didn't get it, did you get a little nervous?
No.
No, I did think like, okay, this is like, it's not over yet, but like
I didn't have like, okay. When it was 20,
here we go again.
I wasn't at that point. I did get a little bit. I was like, Purdue goes 3 and out and punts here and kills like 40 seconds. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's like
had we done that, I probably would have freaked out. But yeah,
Walters likes to run a little more than old Jeffrey did. Jeffrey would have passed 3 times.
He runs now.
Yeah. Oh, now he does. Yeah,
he's got the horses.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
See, that's kind of why I kind of want Notre Dame to blow them out.
Yeah,
because I want to see Louisville just like burning when they go like 5-7 one year.
Yeah, Mooney. It was better broadcasting than actual NBC on Sunday Night Football for reasons. Yeah, that's every Kansas City game going forward, I have a feeling. I'm just glad a lot of the nation's along with me with hating the Chiefs, maybe for all different reasons, but hey, the more the merrier. Come on board, because there's a lot of people that love them now, especially the NFL social media accounts. Yeah, that's a podcast for another day. George is having a good year. Go George, but the rest of them. But yeah, no. How are you feeling going into the Iowa game, Andrew? Though after the Illinois win, more optimistic now than you were.
Much than the week before. Even though I don't know. Looking back on the Wisconsin game, the second half wasn't terrible.
Right.
It started off absolutely.
Once they got into no huddle and kind of got into flow, things clicked better.
I don't know. More optimistic, especially like I don't know. I'm sure you guys talked about the week that the changes that Walters made with Harold Graham and Kane up in the booth. So and Walters calling the defense for the first time, and I don't know if that was Illinois' quarterback being horrible or what, but which there definitely were some open throws that he missed.
Oh, there were. There
in the
were.
first quarter when I think they might have got when they got a field goal. I think
A wide open tight end in the
Oh
seam.
my gosh, there was no way.
We could have made that throw. We would have been a
yeah.
lob, but we could have made that throw.
The whole stadium like gasped. It was like, I was like, oh my god, he's so wide open.
So I think it was a combo of that, of the changes implemented, and Illinois being bad. So we'll see. But I mean, they're going up against a pretty bad offense right now. Next week,
yeah, without the starting quarterback, Cade McNamara's out for the year.
Is it like a race to 20?
Could be.
Big time.
Purdue scores 20. Is that like
their quarterback? Their new quarterback is 6'5", 260.
Yeah, Deacon Hill's a big boy.
Hopefully he can't run. Though.
He's not supposed to be very mobile at all.
We can bring him down.
According to Big Time Boiler earlier on YouTube, says he only throws a fastball. So.
Can he play line? Can he play offensive line?
But no, I expect a dogfight Saturday. But I'm feeling a lot better about it than I was before the weekend.
Iowa's defense is good, but not as dominant as it's been.
Right, it's good. Special teams. Iowa's always got good defense and special teams.
As long as Purdue doesn't do anything stupid, like major turnovers, fumbles.
Yeah, be clean with the ball. You're gonna have a chance. That's all you can ask for. Yeah, don't put it on the ground.
Because unless you give the Iowa offense points, they're not gonna score that much.
Right. And Williams, the running back who ran for 200 on us last year's out. So
did they say their backup running back's hurt too?
Yeah, they got quite. And I think they might have a lineman or two. They got a lot of injuries going on. So
Brian Ferentz, I think you said that Brian Ferentz excuses.
Yeah. Yep, that was our Illinois buddy that doesn't like Iowa that said that. But yeah, good old Kirk Ferentz does not want to fire his son at any cost. But the AD might have to put the hammer down finally. But one thing before we do the prediction, and Evan and I did ours, Andrew, and we've kind of implemented this into the pod the last few weeks. We do a bold, spicy prediction for every game. So what's your bold, spicy prediction for this game?
I think Hudson Card. I know Tyrone Tracy has a rebound game, or not a rebound, a revenge game against Iowa. I think Hudson Card has 3 or 4 touchdowns. I'll say 3 or 4 touchdowns because he might.
I like it. Mine was Tracy 2 touchdowns, and Evans was a defensive touchdown by Purdue.
Back-to-back weeks. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Has that happened? Has that happened in a while? You can remember?
Well, we were trying to figure out 6'3", 250.
That's still a big boy.
That's a massive human being.
With spikes on, he's 6'5".
Yeah. We were trying to figure out because we said this was.
Fran's got to recruit him for basketball.
Next,
Charles Davis.
What's his? Yeah, Charles. Next, Luke
Garza.
Yeah. We were trying to figure out because this game was originally supposed to be a night game, right, Tan? We're trying to figure out the last.
I believe so. Yeah.
True night road game. It hasn't.
It's got to be in Happy Valley at some point, didn't it? I feel like I remember a night game there. Maybe
we were discussing. I think it was 2010 at Northwestern. I think was the last official night game on the road for Purdue. That was Rob Hunter.
Games that started late, but I feel like that was like I feel like the year that Austin Starr in that game winner. I think that was a night game. I think, but that was like 07.
Yeah,
so.
I was driving. I remember that one happening. I was driving somewhere. And
that was 07.
Night listening to it. I remember when they lost that one.
Or it might have been one of those 3. I bet it was a 3:30 because the Big Ten doesn't do night games till this year in November.
It's true.
Now with the new TV contract, they are, which is going to be miserably cold if we have one of those come November. But we've had a lot of 3:30s that in the fall end in night, but like as far as a true night game,
that's true.
I'm pretty sure it's Northwestern. It was Rob Henry's first start. Northwestern was ranked 25th, and Dan Deerking had a heck of a game, and we won.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one. I cannot recall another one on the road.
I can't remember hardly any games at Northwestern other than the Wrigley game.
Yeah, that's a good point. Aiden O'Connell's first win up there in 2019, but. Because, Purdue, we didn't have lights for the longest part, so we barely ever had night games.
Well, they always brought them in.
If we did, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Those were like 3:30 starts probably.
Yeah. And then Hazel was so bad we never had night games at home or on the road. Nevada was not night their time.
No. It's like a 5:30
Yeah.
start their time, probably.
I'm pretty sure it was Northwestern. I mean, somebody can fact check me.
That was. I mean,
Oh, that was 09.
Yeah.
That,
That probably wasn't a night game for Oregon.
No, not for the
Night
not.
game for us.
Yeah.
Oh.
2017. Yeah,
home.
I forgot
Was that
about that
home?
one.
Was that
No,
at-
that was
was
on
that-
the road. I forgot about that game.
against Northwestern on like a Friday or
Sindelar
Saturday.
blew his knee out that game. I forgot
He
about
did?
that one.
That was a night
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Pulling
That
up
was
right
on-
now. Purdue lost 23-13. Oh, Thorson was their quarterback.
Because that made us go 4-6, and it looked like we were gonna. Then we beat Iowa and Indiana.
Yeah, Sindelar was 37 for 60, 376.
63 tips.
37 for 60.
Oh, still.
Jared Sparks had 11 catches for 130 yards. Our only touchdown.
7:00. Yeah. Mhm.
Ah, good one. Good find.
Our only
So I had the
touchdown-
Northwestern part right.
Yeah. Our only touchdowns were a Jared Burgess 21-yard pass from Religious. That's a name I haven't heard of in a long time.
He was like 29 years old.
Yeah, and then Anthony Mahungu had a catch from Sindelar. But
That's when
yeah.
that's when Sindelar hurt his knee, and we had no idea it was a torn ACL at the time.
that's okay.
Because then he played.
He didn't play, and he balled out
Yeah.
the next 3 games.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
Uh-huh.
then after the Foster 4, oh, he was playing on a torn ACL. What?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Yeah. Then his career was never the same, unfortunately, after that. But yes, with all that said, score predictions and MVP for Saturday.
I'll go ahead. So let's see. I'm going to say Purdue. I think Purdue's going to move the ball. I think they get some offensive rhythm. I think they're going to win 28-17. I think it's comfortable.
Oh, I like it.
I think Hudson Card. Like I already made my bold. I guess. Yeah, 28. That's 4 touchdowns. So that sticks with my.
I'm going to go 24-21. Tyron Tracy's MVP.
21-20. Iowa misses a game-winning field goal.
Shut up.
No, I think you got to
pushes-
flip that. Julio Matt. I don't know the new whatever the kicker.
Messias.
Messias game winner. That's what. It
Nah,
should be.
Iowa's kicker pushes it right. I about die from stress, and Purdue's victorious. So, and Tyron Tracy's my pick too, since I have him for at least 2 touchdowns. So. Before we wrap up, though, I thought we would talk about the Big Ten basketball schedule that came out today with the Times and TV networks. Caused quite the stir on Knucklehead Central because Purdue has at least 6 games on
To be
the.
fair, what does it is the real question.
Right now, it's all the peacock right now. This just has everybody up in arms between 3 weeks in a row of football and now basketball, including Arizona and at Indiana. Brilliant business move by Peacock, though, by the way, to drive
yeah.
subscribers. They're not dumb.
They're not dumb.
So if you're wondering what the hell games you might miss on Peacock, it's Arizona neutral down in Indianapolis, at Maryland, at Nebraska, at Indiana, Michigan at home, and at Illinois. So some pretty good ones there.
So does that mean if it's on Peacock that at Assembly Hall game won't have like Dick Vitale or something like in the building?
I'm sure he'll find a way to get down there.
I think Dick's ESPN. I think we're good. I think we're
That's what I
no
mean.
Dick Vitale this year.
It's a
So
positive.
We'll have Robbie. I guarantee
Yeah.
we have Robbie.
we're gonna have Robbie a lot since he's gonna do Fox and NBC and Peacock.
Network. Yeah. Yeah.
Looking at the games,
I saw someone on Knuckleheads like I'd rather have, or someone on Twitter I think said, man, it's easy for me to say because we have Peacock here in our house.
Right,
so
right.
No problem. Like I'd rather take the 3 or 4 more Peacock games than have a Big Ten Plus game.
I agree.
Oh my gosh!
To subscribe to that god awful service.
I agree.
So only 2 Big Ten Plus games. I see.
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Grace, yeah.
Arkansas, the exhibition's SEC Plus. Grace College, exhibition Big Ten Plus. Samford is Big Ten Network. Morris State's Big Ten Plus. Xavier's 8:30 at night game, FS1. Gonzaga, the first game of the Maui's, a 5 o'clock Monday night game at ESPN2. Then Win or loss, you get Tennessee or Syracuse 2:30 or 8 o'clock, and then the next day is around 3.
I guess I forgot that. I thought we were gonna have no games on ESPN this year, but I forgot the Maui was gonna be ESPN.
Yeah.
Now it's ESPN.
Yeah, which I'm cool with.
Oh yeah.
Texas Southern, Big Ten Network, Northwestern, Big Ten Network, Iowa, Big Ten Network, Alabama up in Canada on Fox, Arizona Peacock, like I said, Jacksonville, Big Ten Network, Eastern Kentucky, Big Ten Network, Maryland Peacock, Illinois at home, FS1, at Nebraska Peacock, Penn State at home, Big Ten Network, 2:15 game there. That's a weird start time. At Indiana, 7 o'clock Peacock. At Iowa, 2 o'clock FS1. Michigan at home, 9 o'clock. Hate those. Peacock. At Rutgers, 1 o'clock Fox. They love to put us and Rutgers on the big matchup. Northwestern, 6:30 Big Ten Network. At Wisconsin, 1 o'clock CBS. Indiana at home, and 8 o'clock Saturday night Fox. We're not going to get game day at all, are we, this year, since we're not ESPN probably?
Oh, God, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Screw 'em. It's a joke that all the years Mackey Arena only had it once. What a joke.
Yeah. They're not going to Michigan State. They won't go to Assembly Hall. They won't come here. Yeah.
That show's got to suck now.
They're going to rotate between Duke, Miami,
Yeah.
Alabama.
Minnesota at home on my birthday and Evan's wife's birthday, 8:30 Big Ten Network.
Well, I'm not watching that one.
At Ohio State, DVR it. At Ohio State, 1 o'clock CBS. Rutgers at home, 7 o'clock FS1. At Michigan, 2 o'clock CBS. March 2nd, Michigan State at home, 8 o'clock Fox. March 5th, at Illinois, 7 o'clock Peacock. March 10th, Wisconsin, 12:30 at home, Fox. Then Big Ten Tournament to be determined and to be announced. So a lot of CBS and Fox games at the end, which is nice.
Do we know where the Big Ten Tournament's going to be at?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I thought it was going to be Minnesota. I can't remember.
That will be cold and fun. Stupid.
Is that going to be in the rotation, or are they just going to start moving it around?
I bet it's going to be in LA here in the next 5 years.
It'll be. I bet it's in like 2 years. I bet it'll be like in Chicago. I bet it'll be like in Indy in 2 years, or I should say next year, and then the next season, 2025 season, and then it'll be in LA. I bet. That's my guess.
Detroit's going to want it. They've never had it. Cleveland's probably going to want it. Philadelphia might want it eventually. Who knows? Omaha, Nebraska.
East Coast has gotten their fix.
Yeah. Where can we put it in?
Did we do DC or we did Madison Square Garden? Did we do it in DC?
Yeah. That's when we lost to Michigan after their plane ordeal, and poor PJ missed 2 of 3 free throws towards the end. Yeah.
That's right.
We lost to an overtime. Yeah, and then we lost to freaking Little Rock.
Oh, that was the same year?
I think so, right? Or was that the following year?
I think that was the following year.
Okay. I get my years mixed up anymore. I'm getting old. That I guess just what stuck out to me was, of course, the 6 games on Peacock, especially the Indiana game.
We don't have a whole lot of home day games on Saturdays. I think, as I texted you guys, we have a lot. If it's a home game on a Saturday, it's like it seems to be a night game. Yeah,
a lot of late night games.
Yeah,
this year in general, which kind of I get it for TV purposes, but kind of sucks if you got to travel a decent ways to get there. But basketball will be here sooner than we know it. So
sounds like Edie's back to practicing.
Thank God. We can all breathe normally.
Yesterday.
What was that?
Sunday or Monday? Yeah.
Yep.
Sunday.
We got CJ Cox.
Yep.
From the East Coast. Sounds like the tape I've seen and watched them. I like obviously the highlights are highlights, but don't really know a whole lot about him. But it sounds like, at this point, if Painter wants him, and I'm cool with it.
Especially if he was the main recruiter.
Yeah, right.
Trust the guy. He's got a pretty good track record. Any final thoughts before we do some sponsor reads and wrap this bad boy up?
Thank God the Tiny Cannon stays home.
Tiny Cannon that's freaking heavy.
That's right. I forgot. You
heavy.
You held it.
Yeah, it's more heavy when it's on the plaque itself, but it comes off. It's not too bad when you take it off. But I was too afraid to take it off because I'm like, I'm going to drop it if I take it off, and I don't want to be that guy. So, Yeah, yeah. Illinois, I think's my second least favorite Big Ten football team. So I don't like them. So fun to get that win. Fun to get that win. But yes, Saturday 3:30. It's kind of a weird time to eat, but it's on the road. Pizza is always a good thing to eat while you're watching football, especially if you get some pizza from Mad Mush. Mad Mushroom's been serving. It's the heart of West Lafayette. Been serving Boilermakers since 1994. You can sit down. And it's the home of the original cheese stick. You can enjoy some cheese sticks, some wings, some grinders. Of course, their pizza. You want to take advantage of their pizza of the month. It's October. It's a new month, so we got a new pizza of the month. We got a dessert pizza this month, fellas. Yeah. Dessert pizza. We got the pumpkin spice pizza. This dessert pizza features a sweet pumpkin spice pie mix topped with roasted mini marshmallows and finished with walnuts and powdered sugar. Starts as $14, so get two of those bad boys. You'll be over the $20 limit, and you can tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you, or you can use the promo code BREAK5 for $5 off any order. Once again, get some pizza, get some wings, get some grinders, get some cheese sticks, get everything. Boiler up for the Hawkeye game, and tell them Boiler Breakdown sent you, or if you're ordering online, BREAK5 for $5 off any order over $20. That's at madmushroom.com. Feed your head. And Evan's got a good-looking Purdue basketball shirt on. I got the world's largest drum shirt. I think we got these from the same place.
I think we did. We got them from the shop. Happy to have them on again for the third year in a row. Shop's been bringing sports and hometown apparel to the fans since 2011. From their humble beginnings in garages and basements, you can find them at their 2 retail stores and online. They make comfortable shirts. It makes everybody happy. Shop's located at Carmel and in Indianapolis and the Broadville area, as well as online at theshopindy.com. They make the best shirts, hands down, period. Next time you're shopping online, use code BREAKDOWN for 25% off your entire order.
Yeah, and if you have the unfortunate pleasure, I guess, of not being a Purdue fan or have a family member that's not a Purdue fan, they do have a bunch of other colleges within the state. They also have Colts, Pacers. Don't they have Cincinnati Reds, Andrew?
They do.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure they got the Reds. Yeah.
They do.
I haven't seen. I'll check that out.
They have a lot of other Indiana culture staples. Of course, Indy 500, that might be some of the best merchandise they have is 500. So whatever you're looking for.
Indians.
Sure.
I think they're the main supplier for the Indy 11 soccer team.
I think you're right. So awesome. Shirts, hats, drinkware, any other apparel, stickers, they got it all. So go check them out. Shopindy.com. Promo code BREAKDOWN for 25% off. Any final thoughts? Going once.
Iowa corn sucks.
All right. Well, let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Hawkeyes.
Boiler up.